Well, welcome back to Crossroads. Fall's in the air, and that can only mean one thing, that winter is near.
Don't say that.
So Layla Price from the city of Marion and Marion Fire Chief Paul David join us to talk about a new project and help you prepare for the upcoming cold. Welcome, guys.
Thank you.
So winter last year, it hit us pretty hard.
Pretty hard, yeah. It was pretty scary.
The understatement of the year. So what has that caused you guys to do? I know you guys are starting this new campaign all because of that. So kind of explain what you're doing.
Sure. We got together with a lot of community partners and resources to just talk about how we could prepare our residents for another really bad winter. I mean, we were using words like winter polar vortex, and I don't know if it's going to be that bad, but forecasters are saying that we are going to get more snow and it is going to be colder, so colder than normal. So we just want to make sure that our residents of Marion know what is out there for them.
Chief, I know being a reporter many years ago and many years that you and Layla have seen this kind of work, you think going into the winter that people know things like space heaters can be dangerous and, and don't do this, but we constantly find that they don't. So do you find this weather-wise is a great way to kind of be proactive in that?
Absolutely. I think it's a great way to convey our message out to people, and if nothing else, as a reminder to people, even though we've preached it over the years, as you've stated, you know, space heater safety, chimney safety, anything that has to do with a heat source in your home, being furnace, whatever, have them inspected and looked at and checked out, cleaned properly, and make sure you're ready for the winter months ahead in a safe manner.
And you know, like he was saying, we really hit on that every year, you know, the different safety rules. So what are you doing to really get that message across to people this year?
Well, we launched it in the first week of October, and we started a Facebook page. Excuse me. And the Facebook page is facebook.com/WeatherWiseMarion. And we give a tip of the day every single day. And we launched it, it's been about a month now, and we already have up to 700 likes. So we're really excited that it's gaining rapid popularity. And then on the other hand, we launched a Twitter page, and it's basically the same thing. The WeatherWise Owl gives his tip for the day and gives the sources and more information on, you know, how you can find out more information.
What were some of the things last year that were so brutal and maybe a surprise for those of you who deal with kind of emergency situations?
I'll start off by saying we had, you know, busted water pipes. And I think that...
I always worry about this time of year, and I go, nah.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's the first thing that comes to mind, especially in extreme cold temperatures. You know, the extreme cold temperatures lead to not being able to salt the roads properly, so it's very important to get the proper salt that has the calcium chloride. So just little tidbits like that. We just want to get that information out in a non-overwhelming way. So a tip of the day would just be something to keep in mind as you prepare for winter.
Chief, what would be some things your folks see often? Well,
there was a couple of things actually. Believe it or not, one of the priorities we looked at was the amount of homeless people and what we would do with them in an emergency weather type situation.
And the fire department gets that call sometimes? Yeah,
believe it or not, you know, we've got 5 firehouses in Marion, and sometimes people will stop by there and ask those questions. We had to be prepared to deal with it, working close in hand with Bruce Bender, with the county, come up with an action plan for that. As far as shelters go, with the weather being as cold as it was, for those people to be taken care of. And again, reverting back to heat sources. When the weather's that cold, you're overloading your heat sources because they're constantly running, trying to maintain that inside temperature, whatever it may be that you have it set at. So again, that was a big concern for us.
So did you guys learn some lessons from last year then that you really want to implement coming into this new season?
Yeah, actually he mentioned that emergency program that it was COAD, it was Community Organizations Active in Disaster, and that was implemented last year for the first time, and there were, I believe, 6 different shelters that were set up, and 3 of them were in Marion, but the only 3 that were ever used were in Marion. So that's going to be implemented again, and they are talking to the same churches and organizations that are willing to do that. It hasn't been set in stone that it will be the exact same places, but we know the importance of it, and we're preparing for that.
What would be some tips that we've seen already? Any of you can think of some? We should be watching the tip of the day, I know.
I know. Well, today it just had to do with heating safety. So I will let Paul David, Chief David, explain some tips that have to do with heating safety, since it is still Fire Prevention Month.
It is correct. With it being Fire Prevention Month, you know, we all always want to get out the message, as we stated a minute ago, to people to make sure if you have a fireplace that you get your chimney checked out and inspected, make sure there's no cracks in the mortar joints, make sure there's no creosote buildup, as well as have your furnace inspected. Make sure it's running efficiently and safely, your filters. And the other key thing I want to mention to people too, with cold weather setting in, you want to make sure you have an operating smoke detector. We just went on a smoke detector drive with the people of Lowe's stores. They donated 302 smoke detectors to the fire department, and we did a campaign and signed up people in Marion for a free smoke detector. We got a Lowe's employee to go with the firefighters to go out in the public and install the smoke detectors. And it was really a great campaign. The senior center, I believe we gave out nearly 50 smoke detectors to those people, those individuals, and they had a 10-year battery life on it. So the seniors don't have to worry about changing that smoke detector battery for 10 years. But always test your detector once a month, change the battery once a year, and pick a date that you're going to remember.
And those little things do make a difference.
Oh boy.
Those things that you just say, oh, I'll do that sometime, and then before you know it, you're in a bad situation. Well, if you'd like to keep up with WeatherWise, you can follow it on Facebook and on Twitter. Just search for WeatherWise Marion, as Layla said. That's Twitter at WeatherWise Tips, and Facebook.com/WeatherWise Marion. And I will be looking at that for the tip of the day and reminding myself all the things I haven't done at home. Thank you, Chief, for making me think about pipes now, too. I'll lose a little more sleep tonight.